Hi everyone, Mckaiser Dragon here, and we got another Path of Exile video. So we're going to talk about two different things, and the first thing is on the screen is I want this set. I think I'm going to buy it. I think this... I think I'm going to try to make a build around this, so it's probably going to be a lightning build. One-handed, and a shield. I'm just gonna be a Valkyrie, so let's see what I can do with that. Let's see what these new skill gems and new skill supports, see what I can do. If you guys want me to stream it, leave a comment down below. But yeah, I really like this supporter pack. I think it looks amazing. This is like, the wings are amazing, the sword's amazing, the armor set is amazing, and then the portal effect is amazing. So I can't wait for that. There's in one more day actually, so yeah, one more day. I think it's actually like 19 hours or something. Can't wait. Also tell me down below what supporter packs are you're buying, or if you're not buying any. Yeah, can't wait, and hopefully I can save these for... I'm starting to see that like maybe 2 or 3 leagues later they put in the shop the loot box, what's it called, the loot box skins or whatever. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to save on to all that, and then hopefully buy the ones that are out now later on, because I like the dark theme. I like the purple and dark theme stuff, so can't wait for that. And then I'm just gonna adjust some things, so give me a second. Alright, so we're gonna talk about this again. I feel like I have a better way to say it, and that is the content that's coming out or that's changing, and the difficulty. And we're gonna focus on the players. So early game players versus the late game players. And so here it is. So right now, all the content creators, well, not all of them, but a lot of the content creators, they're basically late game. And I do understand a little bit about like them not wanting the X to be any harder, because they played it a bunch of times and it's super repetitive. But that's Path of Exile for you. If you want to play the new league, you're gonna have to do it again all the time, and that's what you're just gonna have to do. And every character you want to test out, we're just gonna have to do that. But I feel like we need to make the whole game enjoyable and not just rush to end game so I can eat up the end game content. It's supposed to paint a picture, right? And right now I feel like for the end game players, they want the content... I don't know if I have the labels right, but the content, the difficulty is basically non-existent. So it's just like this, and then when it gets to in-game maps, it kind of goes like this, and then they already know what to do, so it's only the end that really spikes up, where like they really have to... Yes, it's ugly, but and then for... oh crap, that's supposed to be blue. Oh wait, oh, blue. So early game is flatline, and then the early part of, you know, late game is a little bit, and then once they, you know, finally hit, you know, all the end game bosses, it spikes up, and then when they add in, you know, tier 16 maps, kind of spikes up more, but kind of flattens out, right? And that's for the late game play. Early game players, the difficulty is already through the roof. And it just keeps spiking up, and it just kind of goes off the rails. But I'm going to redraw this because it kind of goes like this. It kind of goes like that. So the storyline, there are some challenging parts. I'm going to draw this one more time. You know, easy, easy. Oh, there's a spike. Oh, okay, back down, easy. Oh, there's another spike. Okay, easy, easy. And then it just goes off the charts once you hit in-game maps, because in this area right here, I feel like, is the divide in learning. This is basically the wall for new players or early game I should have, you know, new players, my bad, this is new early game players versus, you know, the dedicated late game players. And there's like this barrier where content just is really hard to learn this. But you can follow a build guide, and that's if you follow it right, you'll be fine. But if you don't, well, there's going to be problems. And it's just like, also, with, you know, the nerfs going on with, you know, the end game content, I feel like the late game players are making it feel like, oh, it's going to be like this, and then it's going to be like that. It's going to regress, maybe, too much. And it's going to be too difficult, and everything I knew is changing. But I feel like that's what Path of Exile should be. It's like this ever-changing meta that changes things. So you keep everyone on their toes in anticipation of what's now dangerous, what's now this. And I feel like the late game players, you know, the top end players, they're too comfortable just doing different builds, but basically using the same supports. So I love this mix-up that PoE is doing. I love, and oh, let me draw you like what I feel like the early game player experience might be like. So this will be like the future one. It's like, it's gonna be a bumpy road. This might not, well, they only said Act 1, so Act 1 is gonna be a very bumpy road, and Acts 2, 3, 4 is just gonna kinda, and you're just gonna get like this, kind of. Hopefully it's more like that, and hopefully later on in the future it turns more into like a disaster going through all 10 acts. But another point for this is, this can also teach, if they do it right, this can also teach players how to build defensively, how to build more damage, and then how to combine the two, you know, be defensive and do damage, because that can be a hard mix to do, and you feel like, oh, I can only do damage and not defensive layers, or I can only be defensive and have no damage. But, you know, the true answer is you can do both. It's just a more complicated formula to start building on, and learning that during the storyline, and not having this super easy campaign where it's just flatlined, or just flatlined. Wait, where's my mouse? We're not just flatlined, and then whoop, you're in maps. And then you gotta like redo your skill tree. You gotta redo all your gear. You gotta make sure everything's right. No, let them know that, hey, you need to do these things if you want to live. So when you get to maps, we kind of want this. Kind of want more of this. This up and down. It's like, oh, I'm doing well. Oh, next act, I'm doing bad. I need to change something. I need to find better gear. And then so when you get to maps, you can do maps and not have to spend like 3 hours changing all your gear, thinking about what items should I use, looking up a bunch of guides and seeing that like everyone's using like 50 chaos helmet, 50 EX this and all this super complex 6 links. So building, and I feel like the late game players, they kind of forgotten what it feels to be like an early game player, especially like nowadays, especially if you played like in beta. Beta was completely different from it is now. And we need to realize that this game's meant for everyone, not just for people that's over here that know everything. This game's built for everyone. And yeah, if they make your circle, you know, this small in this expansion, well, you just gotta learn how to be in the circle. You gotta learn your way. This PoE is a pretty... Okay, PoE is a very difficult game. And I guess all I gotta say, I really like what PoE is doing right now, because I feel like from here on out they can actually change stuff rather than, oh, we can't touch it, people really like this, we can't touch it, we can tweak it a little bit but we can't really fix it, and we can't add anything that, you know, changes things too much, because people will always stick to the meta builds. Change the meta. And hopefully this also brings in, you know, a new breath of life into the game, because I feel like X1 through 10 are basically a joke. This is a hard part, that's a hard part, and then you beat the game and go into maps. It's kind of like Black Desert Online, where the game doesn't start until you level 50. And like no one really wants to play with you, it's hard to find a party. I kind of want that community back. I know it's not going to stay during maps, but like for, you know, the campaign, remember like certain boss fights, people would buy kills for that. That was because that boss was actually hard, and if you didn't, you know, build your build right, well, you're gonna die, and that should be what PoE is all about, you dying. And you trying to learn how not to die, and we kind of learned how to do that way too easily. And a big shake up like this is definitely needed. So hopefully you like this video. It is a little bit of a long one. I did talk in a little bit of circles, but I'm doing what I can. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and check out my Patreon, check out my Twitter. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys are excited. I'm kind of not excited for the league itself, but all the changes the league is bringing. So we'll see, though. We'll see if my mind changes on that. I hope it does. Thanks for watching. See you guys later. Bye. One more thing I forgot to say is hopefully also one day they change acts 5 through 10. I kind of don't like 5. Is like, it's slightly interesting, but it's not very interesting. It's kind of in that in between. I hope they tweak it up a little bit, make it more interesting. And then acts 6 through 10, I feel like is like, if you played Final Fantasy X, I feel like Final Fantasy X is acts 1 through 4. And then Final Fantasy X-2 is acts 6 through 10, where you just basically play through the same acts over again, and it's slightly different. You know, I don't find that to be very interesting, in my eyes at least. But even if it takes them one act at a time, I'll be okay with that. I just want that to be like actual new different content. They can keep all the monsters the same. They don't need to add new monsters. They just, I feel like they need to change acts 6 through 10. Well, slightly change 5, and then 6 through 10 completely change it. Alright, bye.